OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everybody? It's Courtney here from the Outcasted OC podcast, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Yes, the room is still a mess. We are still working on the wrestling room, but we do not let that stop us from getting out the reviews on Monday Night Raw. Again, I still have no idea where my microphone is, and my notes are written on my laptop, so apologies if I'm looking down, and apologies for the echo in this room. I have just not had the time to be able to actually spend in this room to decide what I want to do with it. It is a work in progress, but with that being said, let's get straight into the review. So, Monday Night Raw this week actually starts off with Michael Cole addressing the fact that Pat McAfee is actually not here on commentary with us. Now, they're obviously alluding to the fact about what happened with the Wyatt Six being the reason that he's not around. So, Miz is actually joining Michael Cole on commentary. We see Drew McIntyre walk straight past the commentary table while Miz and Michael Cole are talking, and he hops straight into the ring. Obviously, this is after what we saw on Friday Night SmackDown, that brutal beatdown that he did with CM Punk. And immediately before he gets on the mic, we have CM Punk chants, and he talks about how last week he quit. Obviously that did not actually come to fruition because he very much came to SmackDown and actually tore CM Punk apart. And he said, but when it came to Friday Night SmackDown this week, and I just, I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and he rolls the footage, so we got to see the replay of what had happened. If you missed SmackDown, basically, they got into an angle backstage, and Drew McIntyre ended up leaving CM Punk a bloody pulp, picked him up, walked him all the way out to the entrance ramp out in the arena, and just dropped him. And he is talking about it. He said that he prayed for this and the big man made it happen, which he is the big man he is referring to. He said he's done with everybody who wants to chant CM Punk's name. If anything, it's just a memory of him. And, you've seen what he's done to me and you've seen what I've done to him. He said you can still chant his name, but you're all dead to me if you do. And he said, I'm going to look at the camera right now and I'm going to talk directly to CM Punk. He said, I hope that you're uncomfortable, in pain, and being fed through a straw in a hospital. And he took the bracelet that CM Punk was wearing. Now, for those of you who don't know, it was a bracelet that's made by a fan, and it's got AJ and Larry on it. Now, Larry is CM Punk and AJ's dog. They did focus on it in this segment, so you actually got to see the writing. And he talks about how a fan made it for him, and it's probably worth 50 cents, but to CM Punk it is priceless because it's the opportunity for him to take AJ and Larry with him everywhere he goes, and so he doesn't feel alone. And obviously he's taken it from CM Punk, and he says that you are now alone right now because of me. And this is going to be the theme for you moving forward. I'm going to enter Money in the Bank, and you're going to watch me win because of me. You are alone, and I won't be alone anymore. And he talks about how he's got AJ and Larry with him. Now, this very much solidifies to me that this is very much a personal feud. This does not require a title in any capacity, and I'm actually so incredibly happy. We talked about this on the podcast last week, that I'm really excited for this feud because this is something that we don't get to see, these kind of build-ups without people getting the opportunity to hop into the ring with each other. And the fact that they haven't hopped into the ring yet is actually really exciting for whenever this match does take place, because there is going to be so much heat and so much tension behind it. It's my feud of 2024 so far. I'm loving it. I think it's a great feud. I think CM Punk and Drew McIntyre work really well together. I'm really enjoying seeing Drew McIntyre's progression within his character. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. But speaking of, we had a recap of the Wyatt Six debut from the end of Monday Night Raw last week. Now, if you missed it, they debuted on Monday Night Raw in Corpus Christi last week. And we see that Chad Gable is being pulled into the underground parking lot. Now, he's arrived to Monday Night Raw, and there's a bunch of security that join him straight away. And then we see Kathy Kelly is outside of the locker room. This is before we get into the first match of the night. She's reporting on the fact that the locker room is heavily guarded, and she's going to do her best to try and get some information about what's happened with Chad and if he's okay, and if he's medically cleared for this triple threat when it comes to the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. First match of the night, which is Bron Breakker taking on Ludwig Kaiser. Now, this is obviously in fallout from last week where Bron was going up against Sheamus and Ludwig interfered. So there's a match that's been set up between the two of them. Jackie is catching up with Ludwig before he makes his entrance, and obviously she's asking him about what's going on, and he's just like, I'm just gonna do what I do best, which, I mean, absolutely does. The match starts off with both of them shoving each other, and Kaiser actually got quite a lot of offense in this match, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. The Miz was putting over Ludwig Kaiser during this as well too, because he was on commentary. He was talking about how if you're under somebody like Gunther, you are going to be seen as a class act moving forward, and you've got big things in your future. And I could not agree more with The Miz. I feel like The Miz is one to spot talent within people, and the fact that he's saying this about Ludwig Kaiser genuinely just makes my heart so warm, because I would love to see Ludwig Kaiser as a world champion at some point in time. Anyway, so Kaiser hits Braun, and there's some blows between the two of them back and forth, and then we end up seeing Braun obviously running the ropes, and he hits a really nice spear. Then we end up seeing Kaiser going after Braun, and there's a moment where Braun ends up shoulder barging Ludwig in the corner of the ring post, and Ludwig Kaiser, like I said earlier, he got so much offense within this match. There's a moment where Braun Breaker actually broad jumps from the ring apron onto the commentary table to splash Ludwig, and then we hit a commercial break. When we come back, Braun was finding his second gear. He hits an awesome Frankensteiner, which literally when he jumped up the ropes, he looked like he was just walking up some stairs. Like, it was incredible. Braun has a moment where he goes into the ring steps, and then Ludwig goes and he starts that run up moment that he's just been doing as of late, where he runs and then he like attacks the person on the ring steps. But then we end up seeing Sheamus interfere, which actually causes this match to end in a disqualification. Sheamus ends up clearing the table before he gets a chance to try and throw Ludwig onto it, but then Braun ends up spearing Sheamus. So again, there's no winner within this match. Keeps everybody protected, and it just goes to show that you never really know what's going to happen and if a match is going to end clean. I think this was good because not only it keeps Braun protected, but it also keeps Ludwig protected because he's a future star in my eyes. Damian Priest is making his way into the Judgment Day clubhouse. He opens the door and he's really confused with what's going on, and everyone's talking about how Liv Morgan has been buying these gifts for the entire Judgment Day. It's like a brand new PlayStation and a TV. Dom's got some chicken nuggets, which I do love me a chicken nugget. That was supposed to be funnier than what it was. Anyway, there's a moment where Dom shows Damian his phone because he got this text from Liv, and Damian's like, you need to find a way to end this with Liv Morgan tonight. Like, it's actually ridiculous at this point. And Damian then goes on to say to the boys that, you know, Braun's having a lot of fun, but this should have been handled a long time ago. You need to handle Braun once and for all. And Finn's like, yeah, I couldn't agree. We're going to be doing this. This is how we're going to do it. Braun Breaker is visibly frustrated walking backstage after his match, and he slams on Adam Pearce's office door, and he said he's sick and tired of people getting into his business, and he wants an opportunity to show why he is the best of the best. We turn around and we see Sami Zayn with the Intercontinental Championship right behind him, and Sami's like, look, if you want this IC title at any point in time, all you have to do is challenge me anytime and any place. And it's made official that we're going to be getting Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker at Money in the Bank for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm very excited for this. I feel like this is actually going to be one of Braun's first single matches. I think it's his first single match on a PLE since he's been on the main roster. Obviously, he was a part of the Royal Rumble, but that's not really for a title. This is exciting. I'm really happy. I feel like this is going to be a really great match, and we potentially could actually see a new champion come out of this. It'd be quite upsetting because Money in the Bank is in Toronto, which is obviously, you know, Sami Zayn is from Canada, but I feel like this is a moment to really pull the trigger on Braun Breaker. I'm so excited. I actually am so thrilled for this match. Head back to the ring where we have a women's Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat match. Now we have Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, and Lyra Valkyria in this match. Now I just want to start off by saying, if I live in the perfect world, all three of these women would be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but unfortunately it does not work that way. Lyra starts in charge of this match, and then we see Shayna going after Kairi, and then Lyra and Shayna end up working each other on the mat. Then Kairi ends up double teaming both Shayna and Lyra. There's a moment where Kairi dives from the ring post, and then we hit a commercial break. After the commercial break, Kairi Sane is still in control of this match, and she ends up dropping Shayna on her neck, and then Lyra hits a really nice drop kick. Lyra ends up going for a really nice drop kick, and then Kairi goes for the insane elbow. Shayna goes for the clutch, and then we see a roll up coming in from Lyra Valkyria. Shayna ends up countering Kairi. Kairi goes for the insane elbow, and Lyra ends up turning this into a Nightwing to qualify for Money in the Bank. I'm a little bit disappointed that Shayna or Kairi aren't going to be in it. I feel like we're seeing Lyra Valkyria get a lot of these moments really early in her career on the main roster, and while I'm not upset about that, I just think we need to slow it down a little bit. I just don't want Lyra Valkyria to be burnt out on the main roster and for the fans to not be excited when she is participating in these kind of things, but I don't make the decisions, I just watch the wrestling and talk about it. Then we see Drew McIntyre is backstage and he's talking to Adam Pearce about how he should automatically be inserted in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Adam's like, look, it doesn't work like that. Everybody has to qualify. And he talks about how, you know, Seth Rollins basically came back and was challenged to a World Heavyweight Championship. I've been screwed over. Why can't I have this? Why can't I have that? And then Adam's like, you don't actually deserve Money in the Bank. And Drew wants Adam to do the right thing. Otherwise, he will learn what the meaning of destruction is. Then we actually see Liv Morgan come through after this shot, and we see that she's walking through Gorilla. She makes her way out to the ring and she basically calls upon Dom Mysterio to come out to the ring to see her. She asks if he likes the gifts and obviously says that, you know, he really likes the text that she sent him. And she said that he's playing hard to get and she knows that this is what he wants. And there is so much more in store for you once you realize that I am who you really want. She said that Rhea never gives you any gifts and she doesn't care about you like I do. And she begs Dom to come out to the ring. But we get Zelina Vega, which I was quite shocked because they used her Zelina Vega music. I was expecting it to be LWO. But anyway, so she comes out. And she says, I'm going to give a gift to everybody. It's shutting you the hell up. You're obsessed with Rhea's seconds and Dom. And obviously, I want to come out here to talk about the title. Zelina's like, you're kind of focusing on the wrong thing right now. You should be focusing on the championship, considering that you are a champion. And Liv's like, I took out Rhea Ripley. I took out Becky Lynch. I understand how important this championship is, which I don't actually think you do, because you should really be a defending champion. I understand that you're caught up in the storyline with the Judgment Day, but we've seen this with Rhea before, that she can still defend the title and be caught up in the Judgment Day business. So I don't really understand why that does not extend to Liv Morgan. But anyway, Zelina then follows on by saying that while you're having fun and you're scheming for opportunities, I've been starving for mine, and I obviously want to put the title on the line tonight. How about we have a match tonight? Dom ends up coming out and there's a lot of sloppy second chants. Dom goes on to tell Zelina that he is not Liv Morgan's man and that he wants to see anybody else have that title but Liv. But then we end up seeing Liv Morgan attacking Zelina Vega from behind. Then Ray comes out to save Zelina. He ends up grabbing Liv and then Dom ends up shoving Ray, and then obviously Dom's leaving and then Liv ends up chasing Dom away. Backstage again, we'll be catching up with Kathy Kelly when it comes to Chad Gable. Adam Pearce had been seen in the office and then he ends up coming out, and you know, Kathy's asking a couple of questions really quickly, like, hey, how's he doing? Like, do you have anything to report? Medical has come and the update is that he has been shaken up, but he is medically cleared for his triple threat match tonight. But Liv Morgan is still chasing Dom Mysterio after what happened out in the ring, and she says, thank you so much for being my hero. She ends up hugging Dom and then Dom goes away, and then there's an opportunity for her to catch up with R-Truth, and she basically schemes for a title opportunity for JD and Finn, and then later on we find out that she has schemed with Adam Pearce for an opportunity for Dom to go up against Ray next week. Back to the ring where we have one of the men's triple threat qualifying matches for Money in the Bank. So we have Bronson Reed, Chad Gable and Braun Strowman all going up for a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now before the match actually starts, Chad Gable cuts a promo and he starts talking to the crowd and asks if they believe in miracles and asks about the rumours of his demise and says they have been exaggerated. He said that Chad Gable cannot be killed and that Chad Gable lives on and he's going to go ahead and fight 2 more monsters. But one thing that I did notice is that there was a little bit of static interference. You know, the Titantron that's around the barriers and around the ring, I noticed there was a little bit of like Wyatt 6 staticky, so maybe that is like an ongoing thing that we see from him, considering he is one of the people that were attacked by the Wyatt 6. Irregardless of that, let's talk about the match. So Chad Gable goes after both Bronson and Braun from the beginning. Braun ends up chopping down Chad, and then we see a moment where Bronson and Braun are both facing off, which I would love to see, just a singles match with those two. You know, 2 big meaty men slapping meat, as we all love. When it comes to Chad Gable, he tried to suplex Bronson Reed, but then Bronson ends up going through and hits a suicide dive, which I was like, I didn't realize that you could do that of all people, but that's absolutely fine. We had a commercial break, but when we come back, Braun is overpowering both Bronson and Chad, and then we have the Strowman Express, and he actually runs into the ring post. Chad does end up suplexing Bronson, and then the Judgment Day come out to stop Braun from being able to continue further in the match. They end up assaulting Braun, and then Chad hits a really nice moonsault onto Bronson and actually secures the win. So he is actually moving into the Money in the Bank ladder match. The lights then go out, and he's still in the ring, and we hear the shatter music hit. And then Nikki ends up crawling into the ring and then scares Chad, so he leaves. And then she crawls out of the ring. And she gives Michael Cole this package that's actually addressed to Pat McAfee. But when we come back, Michael Cole is talking about this package that's been left for him by Nikki Cross or by Sister Abigail. I don't actually think he references the name, but he's like, there's a VHS set is basically here. So we're going to run it out to the production truck to try and see if we can get it working. Chad Gable's backstage and he's obviously very excited after his win, but he also looks a little bit scared after what happened when Nikki Cross came into the ring after he won his match. He goes to the Alpha Academy locker room and he knocks on the door and he runs into all of them. He says, I really need to talk to you guys. Last week my life flashed before my eyes and, you know, we're a family at the end of the day. I admit that I was wrong. I stepped over a line. I'm sorry. And, you know, when it comes to family, you know, we sometimes do things that we don't mean, but, you know, we love each other at the end of the day. And Otis is like, you've hurt them. We're not family anymore. We're done. And he walks away and Maxine's like, look, you really hurt Otis. We are happy that you are okay, but you just need to give him some time. He's really hurt by this. And then we actually see the door shut, him turn around, and then Diamond Mine comes. So obviously the Creeds and Ivy Nile, and they're asking how Chad is after the attack. And Chad's like, I'm actually not all right. Like, I need some help. We have a women's tag match now. It is the Unholy Union taking on Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. I'm not going to lie to you, this was a very short match. There's a lot of really great spots within this match, but the Unholy Union retained the women's tag titles by hitting a glory bomb and a Russian leg sweep. And then we end up seeing Damage Control attack them at the end of the match. So it looks like Damage Control are going to be the next contenders for the women's tag titles. I'd love to see the Unholy Union hold it for a little bit longer because it only just feels like they won the championship. But I guess maybe this might set something up for Money in the Bank. The moment where Damian Priest is walking back into the Judgment Day clubhouse because he forgot his title, he sees Liv's leaving. So he like runs in. As he's walking in, she's leaving and she's really confused with what's going on. And Damien's like, I left just to go and do something. I need to come back and grab my title. Like, what is going on? And Finn's like, actually, look, like Liv has been helping us. He got a match for Ray and Dom next week, and she's also got a tag match for JD and I for later on in the evening against the tag champs, which are obviously Miz and Truth. So she's helping us in some way, shape, or form. Miz has been running around for the last hour. Once he found out that there's a tag match with the Judgment Day, he's been trying to find Truth because he obviously knows that Truth set this up. They have a moment backstage where Truth does what Truth does, which is just saying a whole bunch of random stuff. And Miz is just left very confused and is wondering why they are having a tag match against the Judgment Day later on in the evening. Damian Priest makes his way out to the ring and he starts to cut a promo talking about the Seth Rollins video. Now, I believe this was the Seth Rollins recovery video, which when I was watching Monday Night Raw, it didn't actually come up, so I have gone back and watched it. Very great video. Anything to do with my king, absolutely chef's kiss. Damien's talking about how it was incredibly humbling that to see his journey and to see his road to recovery to come back. And he said that last week it was a bit strange that Seth Rollins had mentioned that there was a version of himself within me. And he said that, both of us stand out as leaders within a group and we can elevate others. Both of us like to rise to the occasion. And Damien's like, I actually see a man that I don't really want to become. He said, I don't want to be someone who sees my success but then sees somebody else come in who's bigger, stronger and better. And as long as I remain the World Heavyweight Champion, you will not see Seth Rollins at the mountaintop ever again. But Seth Rollins does come out and I'm like, yay, this was not just like a 1 week thing. I'm stoked that my king is back on a weekly basis. He starts off by saying that this is still his show and obviously that everybody rises for El Campeon, but everyone will still sing for him. But you can go ahead and run your mouth whenever you want, and for you to say that I'm never going to get that World Heavyweight Championship back is very bold. He says, I don't believe you. It feels like you've got this false sense of bravado. And he's asking the crowd, like, do you believe this? Do you buy into any of this? I don't personally, because your actions and your words don't line up, because it seems as though you have always needed help when it comes to your title defenses. Damien's like, look, I don't need help when it comes to my title defenses. People like to get involved. And when it comes to real talk, I'm the world champion and you can't change that. And Seth Rollins is like, for now, I have a lot of respect for you. I don't like being one-upped though. You challenged me last week one-on-one. How about we do a gentleman's deal? We sweeten the pot. If you stay champion at Money in the Bank, I will never challenge you again for that title. But if I beat you, you have to leave the Judgment Day. And I was like, oh my goodness. And he's like, then you can see what it feels like to walk a mile in my shoes. Now, obviously, that's a reference to when he left the Shield. And Damien's like, I like it. I'm the champ. Judgment Day actually need me more than I need them. So I accept. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like this this creates such an awkward stipulation for the Money in the Bank match when it comes to him and Seth, because it's not just for the title, it's literally like your stance within your group. Gunther ends up coming out, which I really enjoyed, and he comes into the ring and stands in between both Seth and Damien and talks about how there is a lot on the line, and obviously mentions their gentleman's agreement. He says that Money in the Bank, good luck to both of you. I can't wait to see the match, because may the better man win. Don't make a mistake, because at SummerSlam the better man will be the lesser man when they face me. Now that's obviously because Gunther has a guaranteed championship opportunity when it comes to SummerSlam. A part of me feels like they're going to go with Seth Rollins and Gunther, and I honestly would not be opposed to that, but I'd be really upset if Damian Priest lost the title this soon, and obviously if he lost, he has to leave Judgment Day. Michael Cole gets an opportunity to talk about what's been seen on the VHS, and he says, hey, like, we've managed to get production to find a VHS cassette player, so let's go ahead and show the video. So the video is very much set as like a therapy session, so we get to see Uncle Howdy, and he's talking, and he asks, you know, how you're feeling after the loss, do you feel forgotten? And we end up realizing there's actually an opportunity for us to see both Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy, so it's very much like a conversational style. And Uncle Howdy asks Bo, like, how's he feeling after losing Bray? And Bo's like, you know, Bray was the most important person in my life, and it felt like when that got taken away, nothing ever mattered ever again. I just wanted to be like Bray. I just wanted to be the best version of myself. I wanted him. And obviously Uncle Howdy asks a really important question, which I actually feel like I'm really happy that they mentioned this, but Uncle Howdy was like, do you think that you're exploiting your brother by doing all this? Which I don't think he is. I feel like he's paying homage, but I feel like a lot of people would have that same feeling. And it was a really sick and twisted video. I really recommend you go and watch it, because it kind of showed me a little bit more about the Wyatt Six, and it's not really going to be like a supernatural kind of gimmick. I feel like it's going to be very much more self-reflective and the process of grief. I really enjoyed the segment though. So we're getting more towards the tail end of Monday Night Raw, so let's quickly talk about everything else that happened. So we finally have the match between Kofi Kingston and Karrion Kross. I'm not going to lie to you, this match was less than 3 minutes. Kofi got a lot of offense in, but then we end up seeing that the Final Testament are on the Titantron, and they're actually assaulting Xavier Woods backstage. Karrion Kross takes this opportunity to hit the final prayer to secure the win. I don't really know why, but I'm not saying I don't know why about Karrion winning. I just don't know why they've built this up for so long for this to be the way they go. But anyway, then we ended up having a SmackDown recap of the match between Solo and Cody from last week, and obviously got to see the debut of Jacob Fatu, and we ended up finding out that it's going to be Cody, Randy and Kevin all going up against the Bloodline at Money in the Bank. Jacob Fatu, I think, is going to be in this match as well. Super excited for this. I feel like this is what we've been leading to, and I'm excited that they're doing this match. At the main event, which is the Judgment Day taking on Miz and R-Truth for the tag titles. The Judgment Day are in control of this match at the beginning. They end up double teaming the Miz, and then Miz and Truth find an opportunity to hit the double elbows onto Finn. Liv comes out, and then we hit a commercial break. But after this, the Judgment Day are in control, but the Miz, when he gets his hot tag, comes in really explosive, and then Dom and Carlito come out to try and help the Judgment Day. There's a moment where Miz grabs both JD and Finn. It has a really nice DDT on both of them. Braun Strowman comes in and runs after Carlito and Dom. And the final moments of this match are so incredibly chaotic. There's a moment where Liv Morgan gets onto the ring apron, and she's trying to get Truth's attention, and she's like talking to him, and then she actually hits him with an Oblivion, and then Finn takes this opportunity to hit the coup de grace to secure the win. So him and JD, so now Finn Balor and JD McDonough are the new tag champs. I'm very excited, but I was just kind of like, it was a bittersweet win, because obviously I want to see my Irish boys do well, but I was just like, I feel like we're going to be seeing like a new Judgment Day versus an old Judgment Day. I feel like we're going to be seeing like Liv and Finn and JD going up against like Carlito, Dom and Damien. I don't really know how I feel about it. I feel like they're planting the seeds for the demise of the Judgment Day, and I'm really sad about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy that Finn and JD are champs though, especially JD. Like, I feel like this is a really great thing for him. He hasn't been a champion since being on the main roster, and he's been there for almost a year, so super stoked for him. I just don't really like the way it went down, unfortunately. And that brings us to the end of the Monday Night Raw review for this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and show that you did by liking the video. Go ahead and comment something down below about Monday Night Raw that you enjoyed, whether it's what's going on with the Judgment Day or what's going on with the Wyatt 6. We'd love to know what you guys thought of the episode. While you're there, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. That's your notifications so that you do not miss any of our future uploads, whether it's a NXT review, a Raw review, SmackDown review, or a podcast. If you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified every single time we upload a new video. While you're there as well too, you should go ahead and check out the description. You can find all of the links for Outcasted OC, whether you want to catch us on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. You can find us there, as well as all of our personal social medias, so you can keep up to date with what we're doing when we're not posting on here. As always, you've got your NXT review coming in from Reese this week, as well as the podcast from us later on in the week, as well as the SmackDown review. I'm going to head off now. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the podcast. Later, guys.